Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. This is going to be an interesting show today. We've got some interesting travel deals. We are going to talk about Black Friday travel deals as well as other travel news, of course, keeping you updated on what is happening out there. It's been a busy week, but I think also there's been a lot of anticipation about potential Black Friday deals and what those might look like. So we are going to get into that in a second. Yeah, so there's a couple of things going on. I want to talk about a little bit first about travel news because there's a few things going on with that. There's some big and I didn't do the titles today. So we're going to keep it a fairly short show today. And because I want to go out there and start checking out some Black Friday deals. I don't know about you, but personally, there are a lot of accessories that I think I need to update. I definitely need to get a new phone because my um, I cannot seem to connect. It works fine when I'm doing videos. It works fine when I'm recording. But I really can't make a phone call for love nor money. So I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments. Are any of you looking to up your accessories with the Black Friday deals? I know I'm an Apple person, and with Apple, I know they are doing a lot of kickbacks in terms of gift cards. So if you buy Apple AirPods, I think they're the earbuds. If you buy the AirPods, then you can get like a $70 credit. If you buy other products, depending on what it is, you can get some really good deals. Oh, hey, Tammy. Tammy's here. Hello, hello. Um, so those are definitely worth checking out. I know also, thanks again to Angelo last week for joining us while on vacation in the Dominican Republic, and he joined us from Secrets Cap Cana. So it was great to sort of walk around and take a look there. And interestingly enough, he was wearing Apple AirPods. I don't know which one. Angelo, if you're watching, let me know what version your AirPod earbuds, AirPods, I don't know what they're called. Your earphones. What were your earphones? What brand and what model were they? Because I think you guys remember, like you could see the palm trees waving in the background, but you weren't getting that, that you normally get when you're trying to talk on a video. So I am curious about that. Yeah, there's that. And then also one of the things that Angelo had mentioned, I think previously, was the 𝖳tu𝖾li𝖾 luggage, which interestingly enough, like, there's the trick where if you've got a big pen, you basically can take your suitcase and you jam your pen into the zipper, and boom, like that, you can open it and close it. And then you just run the zipper over it, and it basically you can keep the zipper locked, but with the pen you could essentially create a new zipper thing so you can open it, and that way you can, the TSA can access your stuff, the Transport Security Agency. So a lot of people put locks on their bags, but the problem is they're going to be able to still access it with the pen. Well, the 𝖳tu𝖾 bags, apparently, and I think it's the Paris brand, they are TSA. The TSA can unlock them, but you cannot do the pen trick with them. So there's some added security that way. Bricks, not Brinks. You lost me on that one. So, a little more info. Let me know. Did I mess up? Yeah, so there's some different accessories like that. For you guys, the portable batteries are, king for me. And I really like the ones that have, where it indicates how much power you have left. So there's some really good deals on Amazon for that right now. So those are definitely worth checking out. But we are going to also talk about some travel deals because there's some that are amazing And there's some that look amazing and they're more expensive than the price was before the sale. So as ever, we will not be fooled by these things, but yeah, it's definitely the case. There's definitely some marketing to suggest that you're going to get a great deal, but just like Costco, you got to know your prices. So this report that just came out was in the US, and it was about junk fees that the airlines are charging. And what they're talking about is all these extra charges that you have. If you want to pay for your seat selection, if you want to sit in a certain section of the plane, and especially European airlines, like the cheap ones, they are the worst for this. Like, you want to sit in the middle, you want to sit in a non-middle seat, but you want to sit in the middle of the airplane, you want to sit at the front of the plane, you want to sit at the back of the plane. You're paying for different sections of the plane. You're paying for which seat you're getting, if it's an aisle or a window or a middle seat. You're paying to bring carry-on. You're paying for a personal item. You're paying for a checked bag. You're paying for overhead bin space. I mean, like, where does it end, right? And so there was a pretty harsh report that came out. And what was interesting about it is that it also indicated where certain airlines were incentivizing their staff, the gate agents, to have more people check their bags. Now, of course, this is often something that they will do for free. They'll come onto the speaker and say, ladies and gentlemen, this is flight blah, 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 headed to wherever, and we've got a really full flight. And so we're asking for people to volunteer to check their bag. There, of course, will not be any fee for this. So instead of spending 60, 70, 80 bucks, maybe only 30, depending on the airline, how far you're going, where you're going. But instead of paying extra to check your bag, you can get it checked for free once you're at the plane. If you're connecting, obviously that starts to get tricky, because how good are they at connecting, managing those bags? This is all dependent on the airport. In many cases, it's got nothing to do with the airline, because, of course, they don't have 15 staff people working for United and then another 15 working for Delta and then 10 from Spirit and 5 from Frontier. And those are the only people who deal with your bags. It's not the case. It's 9 times out of 10, it's airport staff. So if they're having a bad day, they're having a bad day for every airline, for every flight that comes in. And your stuff might go missing. I might get on the wrong platform thing. The whatever the word is, those things that move the bags. If it goes on the wrong one, it's going to go down the wrong ramp to the wrong plane. So what was interesting is saying how, these gate agents are being incented to have more people check their bags. And of course, this is done at the gate. But I mean, we all know, I think we all measure our bags. And of course, it's not just the case, it's actually including the handles and wheels and stuff like that. But from, if you put it up against a wall to the handle, that is the length of your bag. If the length of your bag is 20 inches and the limit on the plane is 21, when you show up at the gate and they force you to put your bag in their pre-made little holder and say, oh, it doesn't fit, it's too long. Well, it didn't grow overnight. So, I've certainly experienced this before, and I won't mention the airline because it doesn't matter. I'm sure they've all been guilty of this at some point. But my bag was within the proper size. But it didn't matter. No matter what I said, she was forcing me to check a bag. And, at that point, are you going to be that person at the airport delaying everybody else? Or do you just accept it and carry on? So it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. Already, the airlines are pushing back on this report. But look, every single airline out there has done the same thing, where they've stripped down the fares and said, oh, we've got basic fares. And then after a while they go, well, we got to do something else to encourage people to book. I know, we'll do ultra basic fares. WestJet certainly is one of the ones who's done that, where not only do you not have the ability to bring on, I think you can bring on a personal item, but you're not allowed to bring on a carry-on. You don't get to choose your seat. You will be at the back of the plane, and you will have a middle seat. Sucks to be you. I mean, lucky if the flight isn't completely full, because of course then you can, move around a little bit. But, they're introducing these because they're cutting all the costs out with the assumption, because of course you can pay for all those things, but with the assumption that of course you might not care if you have a carry-on bag, but you might care to not have a middle seat, or you might not care if you're in a middle seat, but you definitely don't want to check your bag. So it's interesting to see where they're going with this, and if we'll go back to a more inflated fare where all those things are included. It's just included in the base cost of the fare. We'll see. It's interesting. Oh, one of the things that was really cool that I wanted to show you guys is if you have an iPhone, we'll see how well this works. But what's really cool, and especially for me, like I live 8 minutes from the border, so I'm always down there getting gas. Enjoy doing some shopping down there because they have completely different suppliers and styles and everything. So it's really interesting. It's no different than going to England. The styles, even the length, the standard length of pants, like that's different in the US compared to Canada, which works for me. I'm a shorty, but I'm not in the petite category. I don't need 30 inseam because then it looks like I'm waiting for a flood. But it becomes kind of complicated to do the exchange rate all the time. Right now, we are at low exchange rate compared to, or I should say, our value of our dollar is extremely low compared to the US. If you're watching this from America, book a trip to Canada. It's like 30% off, maybe even more. You could go to a really fancy restaurant. It's like getting 30% off. You want to go to an amazing 5-star Michelin chef steakhouse, 30% off. Where are you going to go in the States to do that? I mean, price point is fairly similar. You want a nice steak, you're talking $45, $50, maybe more, depending on the cut, $50. But if you're getting 30% off because of the exchange rate, hello. And we're still not seeing our inbound traffic, our tourists they're not at pre-pandemic levels. So come on in, the deals are waiting for you. And I am going to talk about some deals on hotels that you could take advantage of too. But I digress. If you're going to Mexico and you're confused about the exchange rate, if you're going to the Dominican, I mean, most of the time they'll just do the pricing in American. But if you're going to the Dominican and you want to exchange into that, if you're going on a Caribbean cruise and you're like, well, okay, which country are we in? We're in San Juan. Okay, we're going to use dollars. We're in Saint Martin. Okay, well, we're on the Dutch side of the island. We're going to use the Dutch guilder. We're on the French side of the island. We're going to use euros. Like, it becomes complicated to figure out pricing. What's super handy is in the latest iOS, latest operating system update for the iPhone, I think it's 18.1.1, you have built-in exchange. All you have to do is you click on the calculator button and you can see how it's got basic scientific, math notes, I don't even know what that is, and convert. So I've got convert on, and you can click anywhere and it'll show you. So I was looking up the price of a Black Friday deal. This was for Sunset Plaza, 50% off. And for a week in a basic lead-in room category, we're talking 46,000 pesos. So to convert that to Canadian, that was basically, call it $3,200, which is almost double what I paid 2 years ago during the boom, the heat of the post-pandemic rush to travel. Now, let's change that. Okay, so from here, you can also go to where it says Mexican, And of course, I can change that. And you can type in any unit. So let's go USD. So I've got now US dollars. So I can convert, if I'm going to Costco, which I am later today, and I'm going to buy gas, let's say it is $3.3 American for a gallon of gas, which works out to 4.63 Canadian. But our gallons, we use liters, which is approximately 3.8 liters to a gallon, which works out to, my quick math on here is $1.22. So I can easily calculate out what the conversion is. And I know that if I buy gas at Costco in Bellingham, it's $1.22. If I buy gas here, it's $1.82. Why would I buy it here? So it's useful for that. So if you don't know about that, if you've got an iPhone, make sure you've got the latest update. I also believe that there was some pretty hefty security, extra security features that they added. So you definitely want to do that. But then also, like I said, you have access to that converter, which is super, super handy. And if you're cooking something, I mean, I love cooking. I love messing about in the kitchen. That's my happy time, my cathartic activities. And, you'll get a recipe that'll say 2 cups of flour, 100 grams of butter, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of cornstarch, 15 mils of vanilla. Like, where are they coming out with this? Like, pick your lane. You're going to go imperial, stick with it. Cup of this, a teaspoon of this, tablespoon of that. If you're going to go metric, stick with it. 300 grams of flour, 10 ounce or 10 millimeters of whatever. But doesn't matter now because you can actually have that right on your phone, right at your fingertips. So that's kind of handy. So definitely check that out. If this is something you didn't know about and this is something that you are going to do, give me an emoji in the comments. I'd love to see that. I'm curious. Because for me, that was a pretty big one. And honestly, I've been using it a lot since. So it's very useful. What else have we got? Oh, there's a new Plaza Premium Lounge that's just opened in Vancouver. Again, probably doesn't apply to a lot of you unless you're flying through. What's worth noting is it is the first Plaza Premium Lounge to offer Plaza Premium First lounges. So it's actually called Plaza Premium First Lounge. This is the first one in North America. There's only 5 in the world. They're in like Macau and I think Jakarta or something, like a lot of Asian countries and stuff on that side. And so obviously we get a lot of flights from Asia over to Vancouver through Vancouver. So I'm guessing that's why they've added this. But it is going to be slightly more like a la carte dining. Who's ever heard of that in a lounge? And if you have, let me know where, because I have not experienced this. Also upgraded alcohol, showers are included, whereas in the regular Plaza Premium Lounge, those are available, but a cost of $25. So this is going to be the first one. It's opening up December 2nd. And it's, like I said, it's going to be the first one in North America. So it'd be interesting if you're flying through Vancouver, then definitely check that out. The pricing, it is going to be, it's like $70, $69, whatever, $70 for 2 hours per person in the regular lounge. And then in the first lounge, it is going to be $110 for 2 hours. So it's not a huge amount more, but it is nonetheless a little bit pricey. I mean, that's $40 for 2 hours. Not bad. I mean, when you consider how much a glass of wine is outside of the lounge, that might make up for it right then and there. Christine's saying United Polaris clubs have a la carte. Oh, wow. Nice. I used to fly United a fair bit, especially when we used to have to do more connecting through Cancun. And sometimes to get to Cancun, but now it's more so price driven that I would connect. I mean, I won't, if I had a choice between a direct nonstop and a connecting flight, the price would have to be seriously compelling for me to connect. I mean, it's just wasting my day and causing, more travel time. So I would always fly direct nonstop, but I have flown quite a few times on United, and I think is it Atlanta? I think has a really nice lounge, and it got to the point where I was flying there so often that I knew one of the guys. He'd be like, "Hey, Christine, how are you doing?" And so it was kind of crazy. Okay, let's talk about some travel deals. So Fairmont Hotels, and this is, I don't think the deal said it was specifically limited to Canada and the US. So if you're looking at Fairmont Mayakoba, this may apply. Basically, it's up to 30% off. This is for a minimum 2-night stay. You do have to book it by December 4th, and it is for travel between December 6th and June 30th. So there's some, potential deals there. And again, Americans, if you have thought about going to Whistler, if you've thought about coming to Vancouver, if you want to go to Quebec City, Montreal, there's some beautiful Fairmonts there on Vancouver Island, Victoria. You've got the Fairmont Empress right across from the Parliament buildings, which are really pretty when they're lit up and everything. Again, you're getting 30% off the price, and then you throw in the exchange rate, that's another 30% off. So definitely worth considering. Hilton, now this is just for Canada and the US. It doesn't include the Hilton or the Hilton all-inclusives in Mexico. But for Canada and the US, those properties are on 20% off, up to 20% off for 2+ nights, booked by January 5th. So you've got a pretty good window here. And it's for travel between now and April 21st, obviously of next year. And these prices, of course, are subject to change. And this is just Wednesday. So stay tuned. We might see even more deals come Friday, maybe more on Cyber Monday or Travel Tuesday. I mean, everybody's talking about travel deals. But again, you kind of have to, like if you're interested in going to Hawaii, like right with the Hilton, part of this deal is we're seeing up to 30% off actually for the Hilton Hawaiian Village in Waikiki. It's a beautiful property. Gorgeous pool, gorgeous fake lake area. It's expensive, especially when you're for us going there, we're adding 30%, actually 35. So there's some real potential there for you if you're planning a trip. But if you're looking at going to Hawaii next year, or you're even just flirting with the thought of it, have a look at the price. It doesn't cost you anything. In fact, a lot of these have free cancellation. So you could go ahead and book something on the fly. I mean, if you have to change it, then you're going to go back to paying whatever the price is at the time that you change. You don't lock in those rates, and then it's maybe possible that you could extend or slightly shift your dates. But chances are, if you make any changes after the sale is over, that any dates that change, you will pay the current price for those different dates. And I've also seen where if you have to change your reservation, what they will do is essentially cancel the existing one, and then you're booking new, which means that these low rates, that's out the door. And so the new rates you book, could be back to regular prices. Unless it's one of those deals that's not really a deal. Marriott has up to 25% off. That is based on booking, traveling December 1st to January 20th. So it's a super short window. 25% off, that's based on booking through the app or online. If you book that way, it is 20% off. So, hotel-wise, for you Americans coming to Canada, really good deals. For us in Canada, 30% off at a Fairmont, that's a pretty significant discount because they're not an inexpensive property. And they are 5-star hotels. So it's worth it for the experience, even if it's just, for a special birthday or something. Where I did see some deals, some interesting deals. So for example, Explora Cruises, which is the one that I'm taking in January. Tammy and I are going. And it is an incredible itinerary. We're starting off in Miami, and we're going to end up in San Juan, Puerto Rico, but stopping in like Guadalupe and St. Kitts and St. Martin. So some pretty cool stops along the way. But right now they've got 50% off. So the couple of options that I looked up the other day, 50% off still meant it was $3,500 per person for a balcony cabin. And on Explora, the most basic cabin you can get is a balcony cabin. There's different categories, of course, of those. But, again, that was a bit of a misnomer, 50% off. Well, pricing wasn't a whole lot different than what we were looking at paying originally either. So not a huge discount there from what I could see. Again, give it a couple of days, and all of a sudden their stuff that they were hiding, it's just like Taylor Swift, sold out show for Vancouver coming up, in 2 weeks' time? Yesterday, Ticketmaster released 1,000 tickets behind the stage for $15, $15. And then they bought them all up, and then they were reselling them for $1,500 minutes later, which I thought was illegal, but what do I know? But where was I going with this, you ask? Good question. But some of these tour operators, cruise lines, hotel companies, they may have some deals that are hidden up their sleeves. So you just never know. You got to keep an eye on it and seeing what is out there. So yeah, Tammy, not really seeing a lot of great pricing. So, but I have found a couple of things. So, okay, Princess Cruises, 50% off, and it's only from November 26th to the 29th. So it's a very, very short window. 50% off. They're doing like $500 shipboard credits and 50% off deposits, I believe was the third thing. It's the trifecta deal. And they've got, I really enjoy sailing on Princess. I looked up an option that was under the Black Friday deal. It was actually the same cruise that we did this year, like last month. Discovery Princess, Mexican Riviera. So it was from Long Beach, California, down to Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta. And the price was 50% more than what we paid for a premium balcony. So, again, you got to know your prices. Have a look now if there's something you're interested in. Check again on Friday. Check again on Monday. Check again on Tuesday. And then often as well, just make sure that you have the option for cancellation. Or just talk to your travel agent, because they probably already have done all the research. They know what you've paid in the past. Because do you really keep track of how much you've paid on vacation 3 years ago? I mean, I do, but most people don't, in my experience. Virgin Voyages. So Virgin Voyages, Virgin Cruising, that is adult-only cruising. They don't have any specific deals for Black Friday, but they do have deals that are on right now. There's a couple of discount codes. One is Wave 2025, and then there's also CA exclusive, which I'm going to guess might mean that your IP address has to be Canadian. So if you've got a VPN or you're in Canada, yay. But I looked up, actually I still have it open. So I looked up a cruise. It was San Juan to St. Lucia. It's actually for this year. It's December 6th to the 14th. So it is coming up. It's a 1 week cruise. And for a balcony cabin for 2 people, was that right? Yeah, for a balcony cabin was $2,400. Now they're a little bit funky when it comes to their drink packages. It's more of a credit that you get, so it's not necessarily unlimited drinking. But from everybody that I know who's cruised with them say that they enjoy the cruise experience. It's more elevated. It's adults only, so it's geared toward that environment. But $2,400, that's not per person. That was total for 2 people. Of course, that doesn't include your airfare, but it obviously includes, and that did include tips and gratuities, dining, Wi-Fi, as well as soda and water is included in that. Fitness classes, okay, and that's a different one. Like most cruise lines charge extra for fitness classes. And I mean, there's a lot of people that go on these cruises that don't drink, so they're not sucking back mimosas at 9 a.m. and then on to their Bloody Caesars or Bloody Marys at 10. So they're actually working out on these ships. Like the gyms are not empty. So fitness classes, those are included with Virgin. And like I said, so all of this was $2,400. I mean, that's kind of shocking. Actually, really shocking. So Virgin is definitely one that you're going to want to check out. Tammy, just saying, we've been talking about it. Maybe it's time. And their cruises are interesting. For example, this one that I was looking at was included Tortola, Phillipsburg. So Tortola is, I believe, the Bahamas. Phillipsburg would be St. Martin. Bridgetown is Barbados. I always say Barbados, just as a joke. Castries, which is St. Lucia. So, it's an interesting itinerary. And for that price, I mean, geez, even if that doesn't include your booze, $1,200 per person. Hello? Like, you can drink a lot and still be less than a Princess cruise or any other Caribbean cruise for those prices. Yeah, definitely something to take a look at. So, yeah, like I said, I'll say it again. There's lots of Black Friday deals. There's a lot of talk about Black Friday deals. Know your prices. Everybody that I know, they know the prices at Costco. They know the prices at their local grocery store. And apparently there's this Flip app, which I have not used before, but apparently download the Flip app, FLIPP. I haven't tried it yet, but apparently you can go to a grocery store, you can check the price on something, and it'll tell you if there's better deals in your area. Kind of useful. So it's no different than travel, but unfortunately there is no site that's going to compare each and every travel provider out there. Here in Canada, prices are pretty much static between travel agencies, at least when it comes to air and hotel packages, hotel prices. There's different suppliers out there that may have better deals. So again, if you've got an experienced agent, they know which suppliers are offering the best prices on a consistent basis. When it comes to cruises, whether you're in Canada or the US, the cruise prices, the amount of your deposit, the potential onboard credits, and your potential for an upgrade is largely going to be dependent on the agency's volumes. So if I'm, Christine's travel agency versus, a much larger agency, then the only way I'm going to be able to compete with them is if I'm in a consortium, which would mean to say it would be like, how there's like the Star Alliance, which is not a Star Wars thing. It's, the certain airlines are all connected, like Air Canada and British Airways and Cathay and stuff like that. So what they do is they band together to make this big organization. So I could be Christine's travel agency, but if I belong to a group who's banded together to get the best deals from Princess Cruises or Virgin Voyages, then I am going to be able to compete with those larger agencies that are doing much bigger volumes. So that's interesting one. Hello, Angelo. How are you doing today? Oh, I did have a question for you. The earbud things, your AirPod, whatever, your earphone things that you were wearing last week when you were talking with you in Punta Cana. Geez, I can't speak today. Your earphones that you were using, what kind are they? I think they were Apple, but I'm curious because the wind noise was pretty much non-existent. So I am curious which model you were using. I'm going to guess it was either the newest one, the 4s, the iPod AirPod 4s, or maybe the Air Pro 2s. So I'm curious. Let me know if you have a chance to get to the keyboard, because I am curious. Oh, Google Pixel. Oh, interesting. Well, Black Friday deals, right? I might have to check these out. Yeah, so like I said, if you are planning on doing any traveling in the next year, even if you are thinking you're not going to travel next year or anytime soon, or you've already got your travel booked, pick a date, check it now. Check it Friday, check it Monday, check it in a month. See how those prices compare. You may as well do this little exercise. It's going to take you 5 minutes. And, oh, okay, interesting. Good to know. Oh, yeah. Tammy was off on a mini vacation break, so she missed us. Yeah, check your prices. It's going to take you 5 minutes. 5 minutes over the course of what? Four times you're going to do this? It'll take you 20 minutes to check your prices. If you miss out on an amazing Black Friday deal, at least you'll know for next year, okay, that was worth it. I should take a look. So, it's just, you got to sort of rework your planning, rethink your dates and all that kind of stuff. Also, Boxing Week, we've seen deals in between then before. I mean, I've had people calling me Boxing Day, which for most, as far as I'm concerned, that's a holiday. I've had people messaging me Christmas Day evening and wanting to book things. So yeah, there can be some deals. So it's definitely worth checking. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Tammy, have you been to Secrets Kept Cana? I'm sure you have. I think I'm sure you have, but I can't quite recall. Yeah, so check your prices. Like I said, then at least you've got that baseline, if it's worth it or not. And also, like I said, some cruise lines, they're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk. Others, they're not talking so much as just offering great prices. So, and I think in fairness, Virgin hasn't had a lot of great press about their drink situation, about how their drinks work. So maybe they have seen a little bit of drop off in terms of bookings. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I mean, I think the adult only thing definitely is a selling point for them. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just check your prices. I mean, it's worth it to know, right? Doesn't hurt. Knowledge is everything. So again, short chat this week. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and hit that like button. It really makes a difference. I do appreciate it. And yeah, let me know if you're picking up any Black Friday deals this week, either in terms of travel or in terms of gadgets and accessories. And definitely check out those rechargeable portable batteries, because those are a good deal right now and definitely worth checking out. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you Americans out there. Hope you have some fun family stuff planned for tomorrow. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Have a great week coming up. And we will see you next Wednesday. Same time, same place. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.